Hi, NU. My name is Abby Stovall, and I serve as the housing coordinator in the Office of Student Development. I am here to talk to you today about healthy sleep habits and why they're important. All the resources that I will mention in this next 10 minutes are from the American Academy of Sleep Science, the Sleep Foundation, and then my own personal experience. Why I care about this particular issue and how it affects wellness in students comes from my own college experience. I spent the first year of college with sinus infection after sinus infection, and I just felt like I was always sick and I always felt run down. And anytime somebody asked me how I was doing, I usually answered tired. And I was actually also the first time that I was really experiencing anxiety in my life. And while I wouldn't say that those are necessarily cause and effect, my sleep and anxiety, I really think that not having healthy sleep habits in my life really impacted the effects of anxiety that I was experiencing. I was sleeping far less than I ever had my freshman year of college. And I had always skipped sleep for schoolwork in high school because I had really not learned these healthy habits. But when it came to college and when the stakes became so much higher, I really was feeling those impacts in ways I didn't expect. So I found I really needed to prioritize sleep. So I wanted to talk today about some general facts about sleep, why it's important, and then also just some really practical solutions. First of all, general fact about sleep. Man is the only mammal that willingly delays sleep. So when you're feeling that mid-afternoon desire to take a nap, just know that every other mammal would just give in to that feeling. At your age, you're likely not able to just go to bed early. Biological patterns actually shift in adolescence towards later times for both sleeping and waking, meaning that it's natural to not be able to fall asleep before 11 p.m. So if you're trying to fix your sleep habits by going to bed at 8, that might be really hard. You may actually need some medical assistance to sleep better. 6 in 10 healthcare professionals don't feel that they have enough time to have a discussion with patients about insomnia during regular office visits. So after you listen to this, if you feel like this is still an issue for you and it feels deeper than just habits, I encourage you to go to your doctor. And I also encourage you to see a counselor. Sometimes sleep is the first thing that's impacted when we have some things we really need to work through with someone. Caffeine isn't helping likely. Caffeine has been called the most popular drug in the world, and it has very specific effects on our bodies, especially how we sleep, how we try to avoid sleep, and then it has detrimental effects later. So you should really look into your caffeine intake and take a hard look at how much caffeine you're intaking and when, and how it might actually be hurting you in the long run. Finally, you need to figure out what sleep works for you, like what amount of sleep. For me, I'd always heard people say 6 hours of sleep was enough. That's actually not enough sleep for me. When I sleep 6 hours, I wake up feeling sick. So for me, I really need to commit to 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. Others can mitigate the effects of sleepiness or drowsiness after as little as 6 hours, but you really need to just take some work to know yourself and accept that and then make space for that. So why is sleep so important? Lawrence Epstein, the doctor and medical director of sleep health centers in Brighton, Massachusetts, and instructor of medicine at Harvard Medical School, said after 2 weeks of sleeping 6 hours or less a night, students can feel as bad and perform as poorly as someone who has gone without sleep for 48 hours. So even if you feel like you're kind of spacing out your sleep, if you're not getting enough every night, it can be the same as pulling an all-nighter. College students with insomnia have significantly more mental health problems than college students without insomnia. College students who pull all-nighters are more likely to have a lower GPA. So you can see here that sleep is important for all areas of your life, not just your academics, but your mental health as well, which we know is so important for who you are as a person. And another interesting fact is that having like a healthy routine during the week and then sleeping late on the weekends can actually be really hard for you. And it makes more sense to actually space out and just really aim to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night and not sleep in every Saturday, because it can actually mess up your internal body clock. And then by when Monday comes around again, your body is expecting that sleep you got on the weekend and that same pattern, and you're really not getting into a rhythm. So those are some facts and some reasons why sleep is so important. But I really want to get into the nitty-gritty of solutions and suggestions. So one of the biggest ones that I have seen impact my life and the lives of people that I care about is that if you're having trouble falling asleep, don't lay there tossing and turning for hours and hours. You will drive yourself crazy. You need to get out of bed and do something relaxing until you feel sleepy. It really helps to designate your bed as a sleep place. So don't eat in bed. Try to avoid watching TV in bed. I know that in college that can be really hard because in your residence hall room, or even your bedroom at home if you're a commuter, it feels like that's kind of the main place for you in your house. But designating a space for sleep can really, really change your life. And I encourage you also to find ways to make your room, your sleeping area, a sleep haven. So consider, I love my silk sleep mask. Oh my goodness, I can't live without it. And it's completely blacks out everything, and I fall asleep so much better. Some people I know get earplugs, things that can just help. Ask for your birthday, Christmas, if you have some extra money, get some really nice sheets, get a nice comforter, make your bed a place that is welcoming for sleep, and then use it for that and that only. And then I encourage you to consider having a bedtime routine. This is one of my biggest soapboxes that I have with my friends and family, is that if you do the same things every night before you go to sleep, you're actually teaching your body that it's time for bed. Your body will take cues from routine. So take a shower at the same time every night, or read a book, or have a routine where you pick out your clothes for the next day, or have these specific things that follow a pattern for when you're going to bed. And some of those things that could be helpful are obviously avoiding caffeine. For me, I know I can't have caffeine past 3 p.m. if I want to sleep well that night. So it kind of takes a little trial and error to see when that cutoff time for you is, but definitely it should be probably before 8 or 9 p.m. Adjust the lights. Switch to lamp light when it's nearing an hour or two before bed, so that your body starts to wind down. I can't stress enough how important it is to get away from screens in the evening, for even if it's 15 to 30 minutes before you go to bed. Turn off whatever you're watching, put your phone down, and have some time away from a screen. Even if you're just reading a book, having that switch in your brain and for your eyes can really help your sleep. And then again, it really doesn't help to go to bed hungry. It really makes it hard to fall asleep that way. So I encourage you to have something before bed, but having a really large meal right before trying to fall asleep actually makes it harder to fall asleep. So make sure that you're eating something, but not too much, or it might affect how you sleep. And finally, I encourage you to adopt a practice of brain dumping, I think is the term for it. For me, that looks like the Notes app in my phone, or the Reminders app in my phone, and just putting things in writing, even if it's just typed out on my phone, when it comes to mind, so that I'm just taking those things out of my mind as they come. And if you do that, or you have a pad of paper and you do that as you're trying to fall asleep, you're just getting those things out of your head and helping yourself not focus on them or try to remember them for the next day. So I hope that these tips are good for you. And again, If you feel like you're experiencing a sleep disorder, I encourage you to consult with a primary care physician or a sleep specialist and really talk about that and figure out a solution that works for you. All right, be well, friends.